Welcome to the last of our Reduce, Reuse, Recycle Palooza events, Mystery Revealed, the story of plastic bag recycling. Thank you to everyone for your interest in joining us today. My name is Janine Bishop, and I will be the host for this event. I work in the Municipal Waste Reduction branch of the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, or Mass DEP, as we say. And I will be assisted today by Janice Perret and Todd Kep from our team. Janice will keep track of your questions in the chat, and Todd is our technician behind the scenes. Next. Couple things. This meeting is being recorded. We will send the link to all participants after the event. Also wanted to give you a few tips on using Zoom. You can see on the black bar along the bottom of this screen, the mute button. Mute yourself, please, during the presentations. The next arrow points to start video if you would like to share your video. So your visual is shown in the with the folks that are joining our event. You can do so. And you can also name yourself if you'd like. You don't have to, but if you would like to name yourself, click on participants and then click on your screen, and the three little ellipsis buttons, you have the ability to rename yourself if it is not correct. And if you'd like, again, you can put your town name in that location. The next arrow points to the chat box. This will enable you to chat with others during the event or with attendees and ask questions. This is how we will conduct our questions for this webinar. So any questions that you have, we're asking that you wait till the end for the speakers, but if you do need clarifying questions during the speakers' presentations, you can ask them at that time so that we can clarify. Because if you have a question, it's likely others may as well. And we are also recording this meeting. And again, the slides and the link to the recording will be shared with all attendees after the meeting, probably within the next couple of days. Next slide. So while plastic bags and film are a valuable commodity, we do not want to see this material recycled in your recycling bins or carts. In fact, we identify plastic bags and plastic wrap as one of the top 5 no-nos in our Recycle Smart Recycling Guide. See here, it's the second item listed under no. And that's, again, one of the top 5 of hundreds, thousands of things that we do not want to see in the recycling bin. And it is one of the top 5. We also recommend against bagging of recyclables, either in your cart or at your transfer station receptacles. So plastic bags, again, a no-no in your recycle bin. Plastic bags and wrap, as well as stuff in bags or recyclables in bags, represent 40% of the contamination at our material recovery facilities. Those are the facilities that process our recyclables. And we conducted a contamination study back in 2016, and they are, in fact, the #1 contaminant in the recycling stream. Next slide. So why is it such a problem? Because when the equipment at the MRFs, the material recovery facilities, like I said, that process our material, the plastic bags and film get caught and tangled up with stuff that doesn't belong in the system. They have to shut down the system. Sometimes it takes hours to clean out the bags from the gears. You can see the material wrapped around the gears. And this process can put workers at risk of injury, and it increases the cost of sorting recyclables, and that increases the fees to the cities and town. And ultimately, these costs get passed on to the residents. Next slide. So today we have 3 fabulous and knowledgeable presenters today. We have Shari Jackson, the Director of Plastic Sustainability Team at the American Chemistry Council. Christine Gallagher of ADUSA, and that is the parent company of Stop and Shop and Hannaford's, as well as other retail locations. And we have Samara Norman She's the National Accounts Recycling at Trex. So I'll tell you a little bit more about each individual before their presentations. And without further delay, we will start with Sherry Jackson. Ms. Jackson oversees the development, implementation, and promotion of national and local programs designed to generate strong growth in the recycling of polyethylene film and other plastics packaging. Among her duties as the director of ACC's Plastics Sustainability Team, she leads programs and partnerships with key stakeholders that increase public awareness about how, where, and the importance of recycling film packaging, while facilitating broader engagement. Doing so, Ms. Jackson has extensive experience in trade show association management, value chain outreach, and building partnerships with local governments and organizations to enhance recycling. Ms. Jackson has a BA in journalism from the Ohio State University. And with that, I will give the floor to Sherry.
Thank you, Janine. Okay. So it's a pleasure to be with you all today and to participate in this event to help round out the discussion of what you should know about, sorry, the deck is a little obsessed here, round out what you should know about plastic film recycling. A little bit about our group, what we do, we represent the polyethylene film value chain with a focus on film recycling, and we do that by, I don't know why this is happening, helping to facilitate stakeholder engagement, sharing best practices, raising awareness, and demonstrating progress, all to increase the recycling of polyethylene film. My machine is a little anxious and wants to get started, so let's get started here. So the level set, I just wanted to let folks know that the reason there is just widespread use of plastic film is it really demonstrates some significant societal, it provides some significant societal benefits as listed here, using less resources, reducing greenhouse gas. It is an efficient material, protects products, and is economical for a lot of businesses. However, for these benefits to continue, we really have to do a better job to make sure this film is recycled. So we've already heard from Janine about the problems of film in the MRF. That is not the system for recycling film currently, because primarily these systems were not designed for film. So that makes it more, and I won't just spend too much time on this, just want to emphasize that there is a recycling infrastructure for film, and that infrastructure is right now through retail take-back programs. So I want to just kind of outline before we really get into the presentation some of the challenges we're experiencing when it comes to recycling polyethylene films as are depicted here on the slide. They really focus on education, access, and demand. So for the education piece, most people just really don't know that, one, the material is recyclable, and two, they should not put it in their curbside recycling bins, because generally most of them are not designed to take that material. Also, there's an access issue emerging in that the retail collection programs are diminishing across the country, unfortunately, because of policy restrictions and whatnot. And these situations, I mean, the case is when these restrictions are put in place against plastic bags, a number of retailers think, well, I no longer have to provide this service. It is a critical service that they're providing to their customers. So we really need them to shore up those programs. And this was exacerbated, of course, by the pandemic, where there was concern around contamination from bringing things back into the stores. Also, there's the issue of in markets for the material. Prior to China imposing restrictions a few years ago on scrap imports, a lot of this material was recycled overseas. So we need more domestic market. And all of these things have come together to really kind of challenge the system that is essential for film recycling, in addition to some unique challenges, impacting retailers. And that is that Unfortunately, a number of these programs lack consistency. When a consumer goes to a store, the bin is not often placed well, or it is overflowing and not maintained well, or the retailer is not promoting the program to their customers. All of these things that are very helpful and contribute to optimization of the use of the programs by the consumers. So we definitely need some solutions here if we're going to maintain important infrastructure. And the solution we're providing with our partners is our RAP Recycling Action Program. This is a national public education and outreach initiative with the goal of raising awareness and participation in retail take-back programs for recycling film. Listed here are some of our partners. Here's how the program works. They're generally, as I said, public-private partnerships where we bring together the value chain, and as listed here, so we have our critical retail partners, our end users like Trex, our brand companies who use this material to package their products, and our state and local government recycling education outreach coordinators, all working together on consistent messaging about what film packaging is recyclable and where to recycle this material. So our primary function in bringing these key stakeholders together is to equip them with the right resources for education and outreach. So listed here are some of the effective resources that we have used in our RAP campaigns to raise awareness and increase recycling of polyethylene films. Signage being one of the key things, because we were told in previous campaigns, this is how a lot of people get information as to what to put in the bins and how the material should be put in the bins that is clean and dry. And a lot of these resources are free and they're downloadable from our resource website, plasticfilmrecycling.org. And we're also, as we do multiple outreach efforts and campaigns, looking to enhance these resources to make them even more effective based on what we've learned from previous campaigns. This is really an important resource to help consumers better recycle the material. We've made some recent enhancements to this drop-off directory, and that in addition to putting in a zip code, you could also put in your address, and there are also map viewing available of the drop-off locations within usually 10-mile radius of where you live. And another nice feature is that we have a feedback system for rating retailers with great programs and providing feedback on areas of improvement so that retailers can be recognized for the good work they're doing in providing this important customer service. So we have been successful in, where we've been engaged with communities to helping to recycle right. And now it's really important that we inspire, consumers to do more in the ways of supporting demand for this material. So what we're doing in that regard is we're working on efforts not only to increase the quality of supply of the material, which we have, as I said, we've been successful in doing, but also in helping retailers and consumers too support what we call circularity for film. That is, that material that they collect in their stores, they're also using it for products that they purchase and use within their businesses. So that is helping to close the loop. So be it a composite lumber application or in use or film-to-film applications. And all of these things contribute to supporting demand, and we are encouraging retail businesses in addition to consumers to do more to support that. And we will be highlighting that in our RAP outreach efforts and campaigns going forward. So this is a bit of information about what you can do as consumers and businesses to support demand. Listed on the right is the Buy Recycled Products directory. It has recycled content film products and recycled products for other resins as well. but it contains information for products both for businesses and consumers. So I encourage you to check that out. And also for businesses, you can join the Association of Plastics Recyclers Film Demand Champions. It's a brand new program, and the goal of the program is to encourage businesses that join it to either purchase more products with recycled film or use more products with recycled film. And they start with a minimum level of commitment, and they are challenged each year to really raise and demonstrate progress against that commitment. The final thing you might consider doing to help support demand is what we're calling a Film Recycling Demand Challenge. It's a social media campaign that we've used in the past around increasing awareness of film recycling. In the demand space, we would just encourage you to record a video of you purchasing a product with recycled content film and challenge your family, your friends to do the same and post that video on social media. So we look to spread momentum and awareness through that avenue, and it has been effective in the past. So we encourage you all to consider doing a similar type program when it comes to demand. So that kind of covers what I had to offer today in the way of helping to tell the story and what you need to know around film recycling. I hope you found that information helpful, and we'll do more to support and recycle polyethylene films. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this point.
I think we have a question that can wait for the broader Q&A at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, were there any clarifying questions? I'm not seeing any in the chat box. Okay. So, so with that being said, we will move on to our next presenter, and that is Christine Gallagher. Christine is the Sustainable Operations Manager for ADUSA, which is the parent company of Stop and Shop and Hannaford's, as well as other grocery chains. And she's a grocery retail leader with over 20 years experience in project management, instructional design, communications, and business process implementation with a focus on carbon emissions and waste reduction throughout their operations. And it's a privilege for her to help drive ADUSA's health and sustainability strategy. Outside of the office, she enjoys world travel and life with her husband and 2 sons. And before we get started with Christine, I'd like to thank you again, Sherry, for a wonderful presentation and for joining us today. So Christine, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Sherry, and thank you, Janine. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here today. As Janine mentioned, I am Christine Gallagher, Manager for Sustainable Operations for Ahold Delhaize US. We have 5 local brands in the Eastern United States, among which are Stop and Shop and Hannaford. And trying to advance my screen. Oh,
Christine, I have control of that. Just let me know when to flip the slide.
okay. Okay, so to set the framework for where plastic film recycling sits in the scheme of all the things we do in our health and sustainability pillars, it falls in our eliminating hunger and waste effort, as you see here. Todd, there's some highlighting animation in these slides, so you can click next and next. And so our stores have multiple programs in place to recycle. Stop and Shop in particular has done a really great job with a sustainability lead training program where there is an individual in each store that is in charge of coaching, teaching, and mentoring individuals throughout the store on how to follow our best practices in recycling. But hit next, Todd. focusing on plastic film and recycling, color-coded in red, and signage throughout the store. Next slide. So this is an example of a slide that we use to educate our associates in what is acceptable and what is unacceptable in our bins. It's not our only use, our only tool we use, but we do make sure that all plastic is clean and is dry. And we place bins throughout our departments in the back of store, and then also for customer collection in the front of store, in our vestibules and in our bottle rooms. Next slide. And so this is an example of some of the receptacles that we use. We are transitioning to putting signs on all of these with the color codes, but they're, like I mentioned, throughout the stores and departments, in the front of store vestibules, and also in our bottle rooms. Next slide. And so we have had a great partnership with Trex, and you will hear about that in a moment. But this is a reference sheet that we use when we educate our associates on what is okay to recycle. And then if they're educated, they can help customers with questions about what is okay to recycle in the bins. So we want to make sure that everything is empty and clean and dry. Next slide. And so this is where our plastic film goes after it's collected at store from customers and from store generated sources. It goes to our Freetown Distribution Center. You can see here on the left. And then it is placed in this fabulous machine, which is a horizontal baler. And then it produces bales like you see in the third photo here below. And then it goes off to Trex. Next slide. So we asked our stores for some observations about what they might see in the bins. You can bet there's a good amount of contamination that our customers place in the bins. Our stores think folks are just in a hurry. They see a bin, they might have trash, they put it in. Or they think we separate it in the back, which we don't. This is a big labor spend for us, but we do it because we believe it's the right thing to do. And so you can advance two more times for the highlights to come up, Todd, thanks. But you'll see here that there are contaminations in these two particular bags that I took photos of just the other day down in Freetown. A lot of times when these receptacles are in the bottle rooms, there can be things like the 12-pack cardboard or cardboard that accompanies our bottles and cans. Folks have put used diapers in the bins before. There, as was mentioned earlier, plastic bags of trash or recyclables. And, you know, when a customer in a particular situation was asked about it, they said, what? It's in a freaking plastic bag. What's your problem? So we do struggle with the communications with customers and clarifications with customers about what goes in these bins. And then just as kind of a kind of interesting dynamic of what we're working with here is once a customer emptied the contents of his pickup truck in our parking lot, and it included a moped, and when confronted, he said, "You guys recycle, right?" So again, we do believe it's the right thing to do. We do have a lot of plastic film that comes to our stores in the source of pallet wrap and shrink wrap, but also single-use plastic bags. And then, of course, we welcome and encourage our customers to bring dry cleaning bags, bread bags, and all those things that are clean and dry to our stores, to our receptacles, so we can recycle them and divert them from the waste stream. And with that, thank you.
Very, very good. Thank you, Christine. Yeah, as an avid recycler of film and plastic bag recycling at Stop and Shop and a couple of the other local retailers, I'm thrilled that this is happening. I have a family of 2, and the amount of plastic film that we generate is substantial. And also, I appreciated your story about the moped as contaminant. Yeah, we know contaminants in the recycling field, and some of the other workshops in this series, very interesting, and we'll touch upon those. So those who are listening to this webinar, I think you'll find some of the other ones in the collection of Reduce, Reuse, Recycle Palooza webinars. Very, very interesting. So we will next move on to our next speaker, Samara Norman. Just give me 2 seconds here to find her bio. Okay, so Samara Norman recently celebrated her 20th anniversary at the Trex Company. Her career at Trex began in 2001 in the sales department, where she was based in the Pacific Northwest. She chose to transfer to the materials department in 2008, where she could manage the Northeast region, the largest sourcing region for the company, and to be closer to her family. She has held many roles in the materials sourcing department over the years and currently helps manage national accounts. She earned her bachelor's degree of marketing from the Smale College of Business and Pennsylvania State University. Trex is the largest consumer of single-use grocery bags and used stretch film and shrink wrap in North America, and combine waste polyethylene film with reclaimed wood dust to create beautiful composite lumber. So with that, we will leave the floor to Samara.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you folks today. Janine and Janice, thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to be here and to talk to you all about polyethylene film recycling. Go ahead, Todd. So we'll go over a little bit of an introduction in case you're not familiar with Trex. I'll tell you who we are and what we do. I have some statistics to share that people are always interested in hearing. We'll talk about NextTrex, which is our branded program for post-consumer film. And I'll talk you through how the program works, and then we'll get into all your questions, I'm sure, at the end. Go ahead, Todd. So Trex is the world's largest manufacturer of high-performance composite lumber, decking, and railing. In fact, we invented the category. In the early 90s, Mobil was manufacturing hefty trash bags, and they were looking for a company that they could acquire to consume the waste film scrap. And they found Roger Wittenberg, who was trying to make the Duraflame log, and the first generation of product did not perform as well. It didn't burn as well as he wanted it to. So that sat outside for a while, and he realized that that material was not degrading quickly. So that is what it became the first generation for Trex materials. 4 Mobil executives left Mobil and took Trex into the market in '96. We went public in '99. That was the fundraiser for opening our plant in Fernley, Nevada, our second plant. But our main production facility, R&D, company headquarters are all located in Winchester, Virginia. And we just announced the groundbreaking will occur in Q1 next year for our third plant in Little Rock, Arkansas. Go ahead, Todd. So Trex by the numbers. Our product is 95% reclaimed wood and recycled polyethylene. 2x6 16-foot deck board has 2,250 bags in it, or the equivalent of. In a 500 square foot Trex deck, you're looking at the equivalent of 140,000 recycled bags included. Over the last 10 years, Trex has recycled more than 2.5 billion, with a B, pounds of polyethylene film. We have over 10,000 collection points across North America with our fine partners like Stop and Shop. and we support over 600 school and community programs via our retail partnerships each year. Next slide, please, Todd. So the community programs that we offer, this is kind of like the small business, or we have a lot of Lions clubs across the country that participate, but basically they'll collect a good amount of film, bring it to one of our retail partners. We have a site that you can upload the information to track the volume you've brought in, and then you can earn a bench. And so the Lions clubs really do a lot of that. We also have the school programs where you have this nice picture on the side. So that's a challenge that runs from America Recycles Day to Earth Day every year. So it coincides nicely with the school year. And every school that participates gets a participation award, whether it be, you know, like a birdhouse or something to that nature. And then they collect film and track the volume similarly. And then at the end of the year, winning schools in different areas will either receive a bench or some other larger prize, depending on what they've decided to offer that year. Sometimes that's raised garden beds. Next slide, please. So we have seen this slide a couple of times, but I'm going to share it again because this is something that comes up all the time. What can we include in the mix for post-consumer film? So it's not just your single-use grocery bag, although we like those. It's also your case overwraps. So if it's like a case of beverages or either paper towel or toilet paper, all of that film is acceptable. Empty, clean, and dry bread bags, dry cleaning bags, newspaper sleeves, produce bags, bubble wrap, cereal bags, Ziploc bags. If you let your ice bags dry out, if you empty your wood pellet bags completely, that can go in the bin as well. A lot of things come in these e-commerce mailers now. Those are, as long as it's not fiber on the inside or the outside, that's acceptable as well. Those bubble wrap or the Amazon wrapped mailers, they're all acceptable. And if the film says number 2 or number 4, it can be included. Just has to be empty, clean, and dry. We do have the capacity to take some contamination in this mix. As Christine mentioned, there are all kinds of things that end up in this bin, and we've seen everything from loaded handguns to whole chickens to wedding dresses. All kinds of stuff ends up at the plant. We can sort through some of that. Some of it we can process through. So if there's a little bit of strapping or cardboard or paper, we can process through that. So in a 1,000-pound bale, we have an allowable contamination of up to 15%. None of that's 150 pounds. We're not asking for that much contamination, but that shows you that, you know, a little bit of a paper label on a material is not a problem. We have no issue with polyethylene film of any density. So that's your HD is your grocery bag, your linear low density is your shrink wrap or pallet wrap, and then anything in between. So thicker or thinner is fine. Labels are fine and color is fine. None of that has an impact on our process. Next slide, Todd, thanks. We do offer some bins. These are solutions that we have. They're fine. The one on the left is obviously less expensive than the one on the right. It's a corrugated HDPE container. It's probably like 25 bucks. And then the Glaston bin on the right is much nicer. That's probably in the $225 range. So if you're interested in bins, we can help you to procure them, and we can finance that purchase for you. And then if we're buying film from you, the value that we're paying for the film can go towards paying off the investment on collection bins. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a video.
These days, recycling plastic bags is practically second nature. Most people know the harm that plastic bags cause the environment and take care to collect and deposit them at grocery stores and recycling centers. But when it comes to other types of household plastic, do you know what can and cannot be recycled? Hi, I'm Dave Heglis, Director of Material Resources for Trex, the world's largest manufacturer of wood alternative decking and railing. This Earth Day, we encourage you to think beyond grocery bags and recycle other types of plastic film. You'll be doing your part to reduce your environmental footprint and keep these materials out of landfills. The range of recyclable plastics found in your kitchen alone is amazing. Everything from newspaper sleeves to sandwich bags and the wrappings around paper towel rolls can be recycled and transformed into new products. And the list doesn't stop there. At collection centers across the country, a wide variety of polyethylene plastic items can be deposited and recycled, including dry cleaning bags, bread bags, produce bags, furniture and electronic wrap, plastic cereal box liners, diaper wrap, plastic shipping envelopes, case wrap, and all clean, dry bags labeled number 2 and number 4. Many of these recycled items end up here at Trex. In fact, Trex is one of the largest recyclers of polyethylene plastic in the nation. Millions of pounds of plastic, just like the bales here, make their way to our plants in Virginia and Nevada every year. That's enough plastic to fill 67 football fields 3 feet deep. Let's see what other types of plastic are in this bale besides grocery bags. Looks like we have some bread bags, some paper towel or tissue paper, toilet paper overwrap, sandwich bag, a newspaper bag, a paper towel overwrap packaging. We've got a fuel pellet bag and a case overwrap for water. After inspecting each item's materials for quality, our manufacturing process transforms these materials into beautiful, eco-friendly outdoor living products like decking and railing. And our manufacturing process is just as green as our product. Trex's production method eliminates the need for smokestack, and any leftover material is recycled back into the manufacturing line. Trailers are hydraulically powered with vegetable-based oil, and Trex packaging materials are made from recycled paper and plastic. The end result, like this board here, is a product that's not only eco-friendly but durable, low maintenance, and beautiful for years to come. In all our years in the decking and railing business, Trex hasn't cut down one tree to manufacture our products. And we're committed to reusing as smartly as possible, creating innovative new products from not-so-new beginnings. This commitment begins at the local level. We work closely with major national grocery and retail chains to secure recycled materials and sponsor several community-based recycling programs. So the next time you're about to throw out that grocery or sandwich bag, recycle it instead. Together we can make a greener planet. To learn how you can go green with Trex products or start your own local recycling program, visit www.trex.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest.
Okay, Todd, thanks. You can advance the slide.
These days, recycling plastic bags is practically...
I mean, we like Dave and everything, but we don't need to see it twice. Okay, so the way the program works is really the key to the puzzle here is reverse logistics. So our partners like Stop and Shop have bins in the vestibules of their store to collect waste polyethylene film from their customers. And that film will go to the rear of the store where it's consolidated with the film that they generate at the store level. That's going to be the shrink wrap and pallet wrap that came in bound from the distribution center. They have a salvage trailer at their stores either all the time or that stops by periodically throughout the week to get loaded. But these, they don't just take film back to the distribution center. They're taking bales of cardboard, pallets, totes, other return items. And so that's where the economies of scale really comes in. Collecting loose film is, it's complicated. It has no weight to it. So it takes up a lot of space loose. And because they're already bringing all of these other materials back to the distribution for consolidation, adding film to that wasn't a heavy lift. And then you've got the economies of scale with the volume of all the stores feeding the one DC to one location. And so once the material gets back to the DC, the materials are sorted, the film gets baled together, and then the bales are consolidated onto our trailer, and then we pick up that trailer and bring it to our plant. Next slide, please. So in this example here, I'm showing you a Stop and Shop store in the Northampton area where it travels to Freetown, where the facility is. It's going to get baled, and then we pick it up and bring it to our plant in Winchester, Virginia. Next slide. Other retail partners in Massachusetts do include Big Y, Demula's Market Basket, Hannaford, Kohl's, Price Chopper, Shaw's, Stop and Shop, Wegmans, and Whole Foods. So between these retailers, you should have something accessible to you relatively close by for film drop-off and recycling. Next slide, please. The bales will get loaded onto the trailer. This is just showing you proper loading patterns. If you're interested in working with us, this is the kind of the details that we will get into the nitty-gritty as we get closer to making a buying decision. Next slide. So if the volume substantiates, we can even place a trailer on site like we do for Stop and Shop, but they're shipping, you know, quite a bit of material. That's sort of rare volume. We need to have full trailer loads of volume at a minimum of every other month. So that's 40,000 pounds every 2 months to substantiate trailer service. Otherwise, we would do a live load pickup. You submit a formal load ready form when you're ready for pickup. We'll issue the purchase order that initiates the swap and pickup process. The purchase order shows an estimation of what we expect to get. The carrier will either swap the trailer or pick up the load. You provide the carrier with a bill of lading. Next slide, please. And then once the materials get to Trex, we'll offload all of the bales, we'll weigh them and grade them according to quality. We produce certified scale tickets. The load will be received into inventory, and then the system automatically generates a delivery receipt. So that'll show you exactly what we got and exactly what we're going to pay you. And then we pay net 30 based on the delivery receipt. There's no billing required. Next slide, please. So if you're interested in working with us to recycle film, please let us know. Kelly Driscoll's also on this call. She's going to be like the main contact for us going forward for the state of Massachusetts. So maybe you want to take down her phone number or her email address, and you'll see the slide deck later, so you don't have to make a note quick right now. Now, I know I have quite a few questions to get to. So where do we want to start?
So I think there's just a lot of, so there's some concern that the directory doesn't have Stop and Shops on them. But I think there's just a lot of concern about like specific types of bags. So I've got like examples like Hershey Kisses bag, Sargento grated cheese bag. I mean, can you give a rule of thumb for what to look for that would indicate whether a bag is a yes or a no, so that people are not having to use like a specific brand name to ask like, well, what about, you know, this kind of bag? And, you know, like, is there just, you know, some rules that they can follow to know if it's going to work?
Yeah, so a good example here of something that won't work and why is really like food safe packaging in general is not gonna pass our standards because it's multi-layer film. So there's gonna be polyethylene maybe, but then there's another layer of some other polymer in it to protect the food and increase the shelf life of the food, like your cheese bags. That's not acceptable in our process. The Hershey candy wrappers and chip wrappers are normally BOPP. That's not polyethylene film, so it's not acceptable in our process. So it'll either say on the bag, if it has the how to recycle label, that it's okay to put in the bin, or it'll be approved by Nextrex. You'll have that label on there, or it'll say 2 or 4. If it doesn't say those things, it's not okay. If it crinkles a lot in your hand, it's not okay. That's like a chip bag. Is that a good rule of thumb? If it stretches in your hand, yeah, it's polyethylene film, most likely.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think we say the same thing about containers, like a crinkly plastic, like what you might get your cookies in. That's also not recyclable. It's not valuable plastic. So we talked about colors, opaque bags, if they're stretchy, cool, fine, good, right?
Yep.
So I do the Recyclopedia for Recycle Smart, and I say to remove the labels on envelopes. Is that the best advice to cut out the label, or does it not super matter?
I mean, it's super sweet of you to make that offer, and sure, that'd be great, but we can process through it. It's all right. You can leave the labels on there. Sometimes now even those labels are becoming polyethylene, which is even better. So if we can specify, if we can work to specify that we're buying polyethylene labels for mailers, even better. But ideally, don't take the time to cut off the label. It's fine.
Wow, that's great. So there's a question about, what do you mean by clean and dry? Like, how clean is clean? Do crumbs in a sandwich bag matter? What about a few drops of water?
Clean and dry means clean and dry. So if it's wet, don't recycle it. And if it's got food debris in it, don't recycle it. If you can't turn the bag inside out to shake out the crumbs, then it's not recyclable. I mean, I can't tell you that it's okay to put food waste into the stream. It's not.
So for the longest time, I didn't have cereal bags and as a plastic wrapper bag option in the Recyclopedia. Because of that, I was afraid that people were just going to like take it out with all the cereal, remnants and put it in there. So I did finally change it, but should I like capitalize clean, like make sure that everything is out? Are you supposed to rinse it? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, so like your savvy recyclers are going to do those things anyway. Maybe not rinse it out, but certainly shake out the crumbs. That's what I do with my cereal bags. So I appreciate not wanting to always list cereal bags as recyclable, because there is that hesitancy to protect the stream to keep it clean. So that's kind of, I'm going to leave that up to you, how you choose to proceed there. But ideally, if you have a savvy recycler that's trying to figure out all the different streams in the kitchen, yeah, cereal bags can be good. Just take the extra moment to shake out the crumbs.
Okay, and then there's this one question, which I'm going to answer based on what you said. Bladders inside wine boxes would be a no, unless they have a 2 or a 4.
Yeah, and they're going to still have wine residue, and then they have a spout on the end that's some other plastic, and no, they're not okay.
Okay. And then I think that there was a question about the types of envelopes, because you mentioned fiber, and I don't think that's a word that the lay person might use. So can you paint a little bit better picture of the type of envelope you mean that is recyclable?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's several different kinds of packaging that I will get mail in. So sometimes it's like bubble on the inside, so that's polyethylene, but it's got like manila folder outside, so that's paper or something, and so that's thumbs down. You're not going to take the time to separate the two pieces. If you were to, then I guess you could recycle both, but since most people won't, don't recycle that envelope, right? So it's like a yellow mailer that will have bubble on the inside, but it's like yellow fiber on the outside. I don't know how else to describe that. Or there's other ones that are like definitely like trying to be like a pillow mailer, but it's just thick paper. That's not plastic film, so it can't be recycled. But Tyvek is polyethylene, so the Priority Mail Tyvek mailers at the post office are okay. So yeah, hopefully that is clear as mud.
Okay, before we go on anymore, we're down to 6 minutes. Todd, could you please show my last slide, and can we open it up to questions for the other speakers?
I can answer. So I've been looking, Janice, a couple of folks had mentioned that they cannot locate a recycling bin in their Stop and Shop. I did record the couple of stores that came to me, Somerville and Northampton. Thank you very much. If your Stop and Shop if it's in Massachusetts, it should have a bottle room, and you may want to check there. This is as a rule. Even then, the Stop and Shop that I shop at locally, they moved the receptacles to the bottle room permanently. So if you haven't checked your bottle rooms for the bins, please do so. If you don't have a bottle room or the bins are not there, please reach out and let me know and I can circle back. I know we did remove them for the pandemic, but they should all be back and accessible. So if you don't see them, let me know. Also, there was a question about contamination in our bins and are they inspected? And not as a rule, but you know, if we're alerted to contamination in some way, shape or form, either Trex tells us the particular instance, or even our salvage facility in Freetown will alert us sometimes. It's hard to trace it back. So more likely these are located when we do like a random store walk. We'll do like a green walk and kind of look in all the bins and look, but not as a rule. We just don't have the labor to do that sort of deep dive, literally.
So this one is maybe for Sherry. The question is, why not retool the industry to produce more readily recyclable products instead of producing a problem? And I think that why I think it's a Sherry question is because I think she can reframe that about the quote unquote problem of wrap and maybe the benefit of wrap.
So we're talking recycled resin. If that's the case, our industry is doing that. Our companies are working now very vigorously because we have recycled packaging goals that we want to hit in 2040. So they're working on producing recycled resins that can go into a number of end uses, ultimately food grade. So we're working on that now.
What do you mean by food grade?
Food grade packaging.
So food grade packaging that would be that we would be able to recycle in the same way that we do other. Okay, cool. And then there was a question for Samara about Trex lumber. Is it recyclable after it's been used as lumber?
Yeah, so this is my pie in the sky still 20 years later. I'm still trying to work this out. We do consume our own scrap at our plants, and we have the capacity to consume our scrap from the field. It's this logistics part to get it back to us that's the real struggle. So we're working through that now, finally, for the first time in any real significant ways. We have partners in our outbound channel that are interested in helping us to try to return scraps back. So don't expect that to be a fast turnaround, but yes, we are working towards that goal. And I will be very, very pleased to be able to include that scrap as raw material for us to consume as, you know, more and more film streams thin out, you know, and we continue to grow. We need to fill that space. So we're excited about that opportunity, actually.
Does anybody know anything about TerraCycle on the panel? That can talk about their collections. I got, I think, maybe 2 questions on that. I know we have like a minute left.
Sherry, you want to take that one?
In terms of, well, I mean, other than it's a subscription service where brands work with the company on a program to provide consumers, I'm sorry, with an option to mail back the packaging that they collect for recycling, as much as I know about it. It's a subscription service, you know, that the business and I believe the consumers have to buy into to get their material collected and recycled.
Okay, I think we're good. I get a lot of getting a lot of this was fascinating and thank you. So I think we're good with the questions.
Wow, very good. Excellent questions. Excellent speakers. We can't thank you enough, Sherry, Christine, Samara, and Kelly for joining us. Cannot thank the audience enough as well. Your interest is key. And I do hope that you learned a lot about plastics recycling, and that you, if you aren't already doing so, continue to bring them to your local retail location. One thing I do want to mention, with all the bag bans out there, I live in the town of Plymouth, and we do have a plastic bag ban, but our local stores still collect the plastic bags for so the other types of plastic bags, the dry cleaner bags, the bread bags, and those types of things. So a plastic bag ban doesn't necessarily mean you cannot collect and recycle plastic bags and film in your municipality or at your local retail locations.
There just needs to be more education about that to consumers, because one, there are retailers, unlike Ahold Delhaize, which is doing an excellent job with this, that once those restrictions go in place, they no longer think they have to provide the service, and they don't understand the value of that service to their customers. And when you do hear about them implementing changes, for instance, to do away with plastic bags in their operations, they still, like you said, collect that material, and it needs to be promoted more. So the other people will know that other films can be taken back to their stores for recycling. So again, more of a communications piece that is needed to be amplified by retailers. So we can.
Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, you're correct. There can never be enough education.
Yeah.
So again, thank you. I think that concludes our webinar today. And thank everybody for joining us. We will be sending out the presentations for our Recycle-Palooza events. Janice, the next week, coming days.
Wow. Janine, I didn't realize you were working on that with me. Just kidding. No, probably by the end of the month, and it will just be this presentation and the presentation that we had about the volunteers. So look forward to that.
Okay. And sorry, I apologize for saying all 5. Two will be available. Thank you very much for joining us all, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you.